All right, the last in our series of career conversations with Joe Terry, we're going to talk about how do we measure culture. This is another thing I'm passionate about. I'm a big believer in what gets measured gets done, and how the fact that we measure everything at Service Express, that we're so into the data, the analytics, the numbers, that we use that to actually help us create a great culture. It's foreign to a lot of people. They think if you're really into numbers, you're going to treat them like a number. I want to talk about and show that how we're so into numbers, it frees us up to develop those relationships, develop people, and really create that great culture, because knowing where everybody stands creates so much great trust and freedom. It allows us to work better together going forward. So enjoy. I hope you get value from this. I hope you've gotten value from all the sessions. Love to hear any comments or feedbacks that you might have. Thanks. So around like the analytics, we talked about analytics and culture. I get asked that a lot. And so, we measure everything here. We measure the impact of the 4 core objectives. I'm that believer of like what gets measured gets done. We have balanced scorecards, department scorecards. We have ROIs, which are individual measurable job descriptions that everybody has, that you that you meet with your leader on every month. I believe in all that, and I get asked this question a lot, and I'm gonna tell you, and it is that how, Ron, you're all about the numbers. You measure everything. You love the data, the numbers, the analytics. Yet you're all about people and culture. How do those go together? And they asked me this because at the previous company, they were treated like a number. They were treated like a quota. It was like, you don't really matter. You deliver this. And while I know exactly what you need to deliver on a monthly basis, we blend that with culture. And my answer is, because I know what's expected of you. I'll go back to the earlier in the conversation. By measuring everything, tracking all of that, and we're a growth company, so we hire achievers, people who want to grow. They come from companies where they're not recognized, they're not rewarded, and they're not looked at unless something went wrong. And by doing this, we try to create an environment that, Joe, you know the value you bring to the organization. You know how your results fit into your teams, into the company's goals and missions, and you're recognized for that. We look at that every month. We talk about it. You're recognized for it, and you're rewarded for it. So therefore, that helps drive purpose and value. So to me, done right, all that analytics helps create that culture. And by the way, I don't micromanage you. Your leader doesn't micromanage you, because I trust that you're doing it, because you know how to make decisions based on the 4 core objectives. Right. And I measure your results. And right. So, I'll say one final thing, because this is so great. During this time of COVID, we sent everybody home. And like CEOs are a little bit nervous right now. Like but like people are home. I can't see them. What are they doing? Right. You know what? I measure everything. I know what every team's doing. I'm watching the results. I'm watching the impact. It allows me to relax and focus on the culture, because I see what they're doing. Right. Right. So I don't care if you're getting a cup of coffee. I don't care if you're walking from home. I don't care if you told me you took a nap. I don't care if you went for a run at lunch, like whatever, right. You're getting results. Rock on, keep doing it. Right. And follow our core beliefs. Right. That's right. So that the analytics become the foundational piece that you can fall to or measure, but operating around those beliefs. And I'm trying. I think it gives us freedom to operate around those beliefs in a lot of ways, right? It frees me up to operate around the beliefs, because the performance is underlying and it's there. Yeah, and you told me a story, and I don't have it up, but it was like a quota story. Yeah. That I'd like to hear that story again. Well, we were talking so if I could tell everybody, right? You're friends with Billy Bean. Yeah. The subject of the book and movie Moneyball, which is I think one of the greatest business books and movies made. And of course, I'm a baseball fan, and I grew up loving stats and all of that. And so we had talked about that, and we talked around analytics and their role, and it brought us to a couple stories. One, the most recent World Series, which it was kind of controversial in the Game 7. The Tampa Bay Rays had a pitcher. I don't follow everything as close as I used to, because I can't stay up that late to watch the games. But I knew that he was just cruising through 5 innings or whatever, and he was coming through the top of the lineup for the third time. The top three batters were 0 for 6 combined. Everybody 0 for 2 with 6 strikeouts. And the manager pulled the pitcher because the analytics said he didn't want them to go through a third time in the lineup because the analytics indicated that would not be good. And the manager took a lot of heat, and I'm not sitting there second guess people, but we got in this discussion of where the analytics take you. I think for baseball, they can take you through the regular season to have a good record, but when you get in the playoffs in a short series or a one-game situation, you have to throw some of that out, and you got to win that game, right? Mm-hmm. So that was the backdrop.
That's right.
Of the conversation, and I equated that to Service Express earlier this year, in September actually, and we had just had a bad sales results in August, last month of the summer, COVID year, still transitioning, and we just didn't get it done, right? And there's a lot of reasons for that, and in trying to do all the work remotely and everything. But it was coming off post Labor Day in September. We felt like our customers were figuring out how they were going to do business. And I talked with Bill, and I said, I'm just a little concerned. Nobody's trying to do this, but you can start to get a little okay with, well, we're not going to hit our results because it's COVID, right? And we're going to be below. And I said, I think people know they've level set where they're going with their business now. And I get August happened. I'm not mad about it, but we can't do that again. We need to start. The pipeline is there. The analytics are telling us there's enough pipeline, enough people we've hired to close more business than what we did in that month. And I just think we need to, it's time. And he invited me to a Zoom call with the leaders, and I talked about that. I just said, we can't miss like we did. The pipeline's there. I need you to figure out with your teams how to close more of those deals. We got to go. It's time to win the game in front of us, right? Will we be at pre-COVID what we thought? Maybe not, but we can't be also at August. And nobody's trying to. Everyone's working hard, they're all in. But sometimes I think as a leader, our job is to say, you got to elevate and you got to win this game. We talked earlier about short-term versus long-term results, but sometimes everyone wants to talk about think long-term, but sometimes you do have to think short-term. Right. Sometimes you have to win the deal, win the month. It's important, and it creates momentum, and then you build off of that. You got to win the game, like the World Series. There's no more games. You're not saving anybody. Win that game. Right. And so I just thought that was an important part of the job as a leader. And I told the story in the company about, I kind of go back to, I don't want to talk about glory days of high school sports, but I remember when I was a freshman basketball player, and we started out 1-4. I think we were 1-3. We were losing our 5th game, and we were down by I forget, it's 14 or something. But anyways, we just sort of the last 5 minutes, we played our tails off, and we were on the ball. Every loose ball was ours. Defense, surrounded, hustling, pressing, rebounding, shooting. Everything, and we ended up losing the game, but we really got it down to about 2 or 3 points, and we ran out of steam. I remember this, and what I remember is in the locker room after the game, the basketball coach, who was the offensive line coach for varsity football, so you can imagine this guy, and saying, if you guys will give me that effort for the whole game, what you just gave me in 5 minutes, that's what it feels like and looks like at this level. We were hot stuff. In 8th grade, we lost one game. We're hot stuff. We came into high school, bigger, stronger, faster. All of a sudden, we're 1-4. But that 5 minutes changed everything, because now we know what it took to elevate, to play at that level. And we applied it, and I forget how we ended up, but we ended up with a winning record, won a lot of games. Yeah. And it's as a leader, sometimes you have to show them that. And I think, you're a former football player, made it up through college, the NFL. Did you experience that? At different levels, you had to elevate. Players got bigger, stronger, faster to keep up. You had to elevate. I think it's the same in business sometimes. Sometimes you have to elevate, and you have to show them that's what it looks like. And by the way, September ended up being a record month. The team did awesome, closed a bunch of, they did it. And I said, that's what it looks like. That's what it feels like. Now let's build off of that. That was the lesson.
Yeah, and it's amazing if you take that picture story, and you can actually take all three of those stories.
Yeah, sorry, I went off and rammed 3 stories right on you.
No, but you can take each one of those stories and think about it. And so it's about momentum, right? It's about winning the day, winning the game. You and I have sat here and talked long term about things, and analytics are great. Analytics are critical. They measure the past, right? What's happened in the past. It's as good as AI is, it can give you heads up on the future. But your point was, hey, the analytics are showing me we've got this pipeline. We can execute at this. And hey team, let's go win the month. Come on. Right? And it was, you can fall back to say the pipeline's there. So it's all on us to go out there and pitch our game, whatever, right? And go win the game. And so you executed that right, Service Express for September. And again, we're looking back, so it's easy to tell these stories. That coach relied on nothing but the analytics. That pitcher was actually in a groove, in momentum.
Right.
And you just crushed it. You just crushed the momentum, and you actually turned it the other way. Where at Service Express, it was here, and you got the momentum back the other way, and it's taking you through what's going to be a decent year here, right? Because hey, we can sell. Yeah, we got it, right? And so analytics are critical, and you believe in analytics. We measure everything. My CFO I think I drive him crazy with, we got to get an analytic on that. We got to get an analytic on that.
Yeah.
Right? We need more data to get an analytic. I need to see a trend analysis on that analytic, because I love analytics. But you have to put the win the game on top of that.
That's right. That's right. And I'll start to wrap us up here and finish with, who does that? But the people do that. The analytics are data, but you win with the people. The people close the deal. I didn't go out and close any deals that month. The team closed it. We had the right team. They closed it. The baseball manager had the pitcher. Look at analytics would tell you rarely throw a no-hitter, but it happens sometimes. Right. And that guy, like in one game, he had them. It's the people that drive everything. So I'll kind of wrap up with saying, for us, nothing starts without surrounding ourselves with the right people. Not the 4 core objectives, not talking about culture starts with surrounding yourselves with the right people. And in my kind of life code, it's outside of my wall here, Zig Ziglar, you can get everything you want out of life if you just help enough other people get what they want. And that's sort of the baseline of all that we do. So
yeah. So I'll wrap with saying, I'm gonna pile on with that statement and say, what's most important about that statement, Ron, is that you live that. And I live that, right? So we're living that, because that statement, again, people get caught up into it and think it's so simple. And it's like, and a lot of people make that statement.
Yeah.
But you're winning that statement every day with how you're operating and the culture you're building at Service Express, which is just phenomenal. So that's why I love our conversations, is because there's a lot of people that pontificate and tell those sayings, but beneath it, it's not operated on, and you're living, breathing that today.
Well, thank you so much, as are you. And man, this was a jam session. This was so much fun. I love it. Thank you for joining me and doing this. I appreciate it so much. I love this connection, love these conversations.
Yeah, I'm so grateful for you, Ron, and the relationship we built. And I'm grateful for you letting me to express what I'm passionate about. So thank you.
All right. So we will, and I'm confident that as we start to share this out, and I'm hopeful that others will find value in this and it as well. So, Joe, thanks again for your time with this. I enjoy it, and I look forward to connecting more in the future.